Hi, good afternoon, and hello to everyone. I am Kalpesh Mantri and I will be presenting this topic. A bit background on this presentation. I have been following activities of trending thread groups for last few years now. I look into all unique footprints they use while attacking their targets. Actors use some good techniques for staying undetected for longer duration of time or to increase efficacy of their attack. We have given lots of our research time into hunting and knowing about all such technique. I am here today to highlight some of these sophisticated techniques that attackers have used within last 1 year. These techniques might not be so prevalent today, but we believe they will be adapted fast in near future. I work as a principal security researcher at Quick Hill Technologies. Analyzing emerging malwares and keeping track of APT landscape is what I work on. I do like to publish my technical findings with the community. So, my agenda is quite simple and I have divided it into three phases. I like to describe it as what, which, and why, meaning what triggered me to look into these clever techniques, which were the techniques that are some of the best seen in recent attacks, and why we are sharing these handpicked techniques, our intention. So, let me start with telling you the factors that triggered us in looking into TTPs of the future. As we all have seen, last 1 year was again a rising year for APT attacks and targeted campaigns. At least 3 to 4 unique attacks were being discovered month on month by this community. Our data showed banking, government, and small scale industries were highly impacted. And not to forget, few major telecom and power companies were also attacked. Some of the attacks that were discovered this year were running for more than 3 years without interruption. This shows attackers are adapting advanced skill to stay hidden. As said, these targeted campaigns are growing with every very high pace. It is getting difficult to track every attack individually. Also, it makes no sense to look at an attack individually because most attacks are related to actors' threat ecosystem. As you know, attackers do not often change TTPs in every attack. So we decided to focus mostly on some special TTPs of each attack that were unique and cleverly used. Many TTPs found the tools, techniques, and procedure found were relatively simple and were using legit techniques for malicious intent. Thus, in every attack discovered this year, we decided to look for techniques that are not very popular yet, but we anticipate that these techniques would become more widely adopted in couple of years. For this reason, we sorted and handpicked some of the most sophisticated techniques seen in last 1 year. So we have picked four techniques that threat actors have used to improvise their attacks. Proof of concept POCs for some of these techniques were created years ago by security researchers and were shared for educational purpose. Evidence shows many actors are integrating these exact POCs to their attack chain. So, which were the techniques that we picked? One of the most sophisticated technique of this year was abuse of VPN and two-factor authentication, 2FA. In last 1 year, APT20 have been found targeting many critical industries across the globe. There were few attacks where attacker have compromised the entire infrastructure. At few instances, researchers have found that threat actor used stolen credentials to remotely access victim's machine via VPN. In most cases, VPN are protected with multi-factor authentication. In this case as well, RSA's Secure ID software token was used for two-factor authentication. As entire network was already compromised, it was easy to retrieve two-factor authentication code from the victim's machine. But interestingly, attackers found a way to generate this exact two-factor authentication token or code on their side itself. Actually, only the attacker could have known how it was done. But there are two highly possible scenarios. We have listed them here. The first scenario was published by a security researcher and was shared in year 2012. Major steps involved: attacker have to steal secure ID application from victim machine, which is possible as they already have compromised the entire infra. And then as per RSA document, this software token is generated for a specific machine. A device serial number is used for device binding. As attacker has complete access of victim's machine, he could easily retrieve all the needed values. Host name, user SID, machine SID, SHA-1 from data protection APIs are needed to calculate the DSN, device serial number. Once all these values are retrieved and added in attacker's environment, a valid two-factor authentication token would be generated, which will be exactly same as the token generated on victim's machine. As you can see in this table, this is a one-time process which needs some system values from victim's machine to generate a valid token. But recently, few other researchers discovered another way, where they found that device serial number is only checked when loading the secure ID application. It has no relation to the seed, which is used to generate actual two-factor authentication code. So what it means is attacker now just need to patch that one instruction that verifies if the imported software token was generated for a specific system. Once patched, they can skip on stealing any system specific values at all. A valid code is generated in this scenario as well. There is a possibility that actor did not knew this shortcut scenario earlier, but now they knew it. Coming back to the attack, after logging in to the victim's machine, actor recons for sensitive data. This important data is then compressed into a single big RAR file, and then actor exfiltrate this RAR file to the command and control server again via VPN. So VPN is again used in this scenario as well for exfiltration the data. This is a sophisticated technique because most organizations use VPN to provide remote connectivity to on-premises resources. It works as an extension of organization's LAN. Almost all VPN support encryption and multi-factor authentication. That is the reason organizations believe it to be safe and do not monitor data traffic flow via VPN. Attackers are now abusing this to steal low and exfiltrate bulk data. We believe abuse of 2FA was inspired by the research shared on sensepost.com. And now, due to pandemic, many employees are working from home via VPN connection. We strongly believe this technique will soon gain popularity among the attackers. So another interesting technique that we picked was the attack on password managers. KeePass password manager was targeted multiple times this year. A PowerShell tool named KeyTheft was used. This tool recovers master password from KeePass process running on victim's machine. Using this master password, actor retrieved all password saved in KeePass vault and used these passwords from the vault to infiltrate further into the organization. The images here shown have 7 steps showing how KeyTheft tool works. If you will check, it performs all activity on running process memory. Once this tool is executed, there is no footprints on victim's disk. This tool was created by a security researcher, goes by the name Harmjoy. KeePass is an open source credential dumping tool and works completely fileless, as you can see above. All integrating this technique by integrating this technique into the attack chain, attackers completely ended the traditional brute force attempt to break passwords while moving laterally. As this approach do not generate unnecessary noise event, Attackers could now navigate silently and remain undetected for longer period of time. If security products have process monitoring capabilities, then this technique could be easily monitored and alerted via keeping watch on cross-process interactions, monitoring changes to KeePass configuration file from a non-KeePass process, and monitoring PowerShell and WMI events to a KeePass module. So moving on to the next technique. The third technique that impressed us was attackers abusing wake on LAN feature. You might have heard about Ryuk ransomware. It is a successor to Hermes ransomware, as they have similarity in most of its implementation. If you follow ransomware, you definitely might have heard about this new module implemented in Ryuk. In some of the attack this year, Ryuk actors added Wake on LAN module to its code to encrypt machines that are in sleep mode. Actually, this feature acts as an administrative function. It is used to push system updates or to execute some scheduled task. The way it is implemented is Ryuk collects entries from system ARP table, address resolution protocol table, extracts IP4 address from the ARP structure, and then sends the WL packet, wake on LAN packets for each valid IP entry in the table. By using this technique to wake up system and move laterally in the network, Ryuk has tried to encrypt the maximum number of machines. This definitely increases the reach and impact of the attack on sleeping mode machines. Evolution of Ryuk signifies the focus of this group to increase its monetization by infecting as many systems as possible. In our blog, we have shared detailed analysis of this module's implementation. Do check it out. We have already talked about Wake on LAN. It is a networking standard that allows computer to wake up from sleep mode by sending a network message. This technique or network packet message is usually sent to a targeted computer that is on the same LAN. This means Wake on LAN feature can be abused by any program running on the same LAN. Till now, ransomware stayed dormant on the network for unlimited period of time until devices in sleep mode are turned on manually by the user. For this reason, we believe more ransomwares and other attacks will adopt this technique in the coming years, as it has much greater success rate of infection on the sleeping machines. And the final technique that had made a comeback again is steganography. It is a popular old technique that hides malicious code in images and other carrier files. This year, we have seen growth of in-wild campaigns that are using steganography and similar tricks to embed malicious code in pictures or other carrier files. Some popular malware family like Cerber ransomware embeds malicious code in image file. InfoStealer named Stegnoloader uses digital steganography to hide code in its main module inside a PNG. Tesla Crypt ransomware also embeds C2 server commands in HTML comment tags, and Zbot appends data to the end of an JPG file. So many malware families are using this. Steganography was already a long time part of commodity malware attack chain, but it is now being widely adopted by APT groups. In fact, it is becoming a part of some major APT groups arsenal. APT groups like Transparent Tribe, Sidewinder, Platinum Group have heavily relied on steganography techniques to carry out their activities this year. Due to image based advertisement and popularity of image sharing on social website, we expect this technique to grow in future. Images shown are of few recent attacks where steganography played an important role in evading security solutions. So, these four techniques were some of the best sophisticated techniques of this year. Now we want to conclude our presentation by sharing what is our intent, why we are planning to track and share these techniques. So, like shown above, many attacks are abusing legit techniques. More future attacks will involve lol bins, the binary already in the machines. Threat actors are even integrating POCs shared for educational purpose by independent security researchers. We want to make use of this platform to highlight and bring these techniques to notice at an early stage. We strongly anticipate these techniques will be widely adopted in few years. And as a security community, we should start looking into ways to provide protection against these techniques. That is the reason we will continue to publish such sophisticated techniques of each coming year. Thank you so much for your patience. For any questions and suggestions, please feel free to connect me via given mail ID or ping me on my LinkedIn. Thank you.